You're listening to XVGM Radio. Welcome to XVGM Radio, where the bits keep coming. I'm Mike.
And I'm Justin.
And this is episode 45, Rhythm Heaven with NikoTengoku.
Ooh, who's that?
Who could it be now? Had to go with the fake sax.
We're going to get demonetized for that now.
Oh, man, that's right. Anyways, we are here today to talk about Rhythm Heaven. So before we do that, we have to go over a quick clarification regarding a previous episode, episode 43, which was the FM Towns and FM Towns Marty episode, also known as The Sounds of FM Towns. So Justin, take it away. What is the clarification that we need to mention?
Yeah, so good friend of the show, Utopia Nemo, wrote to us actually in the Discord, so it's all logged there historically if you want to see it.
A whole conversation.
Yeah, but apparently the Super Street Fighter 2 track and the Super Street Fighter 2 game is not a Marty game.
Yes.
So he said that he was watching a comparison video between it and the 3DO version, and a ton of people commented that it was the FM Towns only due to RAM constraints. I was surprised by this.
We both were.
Yeah. Mostly because of the fact that the FM Towns Marty is billed as being able to play all the FM Towns games. But the comments seem to indicate that the FM Towns came in a lot of different varieties of different RAM configurations, like typical PCs.
Right.
As we talked about in that episode, it is a PC.
Yeah.
But the Marty has a fixed RAM output. So the later FM Towns configurations, which Super Street Fighter 2 was designed for, actually required more RAM than the Marty had. If anybody wants to read up more on this, you can find more information on racketboy.com. The last thing, the reason some FM Towns games will not work on the Marty is because of the limited amount of RAM and processor capabilities. Such titles that will not work include Super Street Fighter 2 and Samurai Showdown. Other games also required a hard drive, which the Marty lacks.
Oh, interesting. Okay, well that all makes sense.
Yeah.
Cool. Glad we could clarify that. So, we are joined by our good friend, Niko, a.k.a. the artist formerly known as Wiiguy, currently known as NikoTengoku, which is appropriate because we are playing Rhythm Heaven games, and I'll let Niko explain that. Niko, tell us a little bit about why the name change and why Rhythm Heaven.
Well, all right. Hello. It's me. I was the guy once known as the Wiiguy. Now, NikoTengoku. It kind of mostly just stemmed from the fact, I've been the Wiiguy for, since 2007. It was a name that came about during my teenage years, and I was just all like, oh, I like this Wii, Nintendo's new console. I'll call myself the Wiiguy even though I don't have a Wii yet. Yeah, it's typical, 13, 14-year-old stuff, and over time, you start with a username, you kind of then just adapt to that and just keep it, and it wasn't completely false. There's a lot of things that we helped revive in terms of, my, love for gaming and a lot of the retro games with the Virtual Console, and of course, the find for Rhythm Heaven, Fever, on the Wii, which is, of course, my favorite game of all time and on the Wii.
Nice.
It held some truth there, but then it was about October after the Porridge Gaming Expo last year. I was just all like, you know what? I think it's time for a name change. And this was also related to my streaming on Twitch as well, so that definitely played a part into it. And I was just like, you know what? That's it. We're putting the Wiiguy away for memories, and I'm becoming just Tengoku.
I just feel like
I love Rhythm Heaven, and I'm Niko.
I feel like Niko is like a butterfly in this circumstance. And he was like a caterpillar as Wiiguy,
Yeah.
and now he's blossomed into this beautiful Tengoku butterfly floating away. I just picture a butterfly with Niko's face on it, with like a permanent pose, like one of his like goofy like typical Niko poses, like hey, like his mouth wide open or whatever, and he's just like flying away like furiously. Like
Sounds like we
I'm
have an idea for a
free.
title card.
yeah. I'm free.
Oh
I'm the
my
wee
God.
guy. Free. Yeah. So that explains who Tengoku is and why he picked Rhythm Heaven. So it's this Rhythm Heaven Fever you said is your favorite game of all time?
It has to be. It introduced me to the series, and it's held a place in my heart.
Nice.
It's so good.
I've played, I think, the first Rhythm Heaven on the DS. I think I got it as like a budget title. Like I think Best Buy was selling it for like $5 at some point. And I picked it up and I was like, yeah, this is pretty fun. And it didn't hold me as much as the WarioWare games did, I think. And then Rhythm Heaven Fever, I think I remember a similar situation also getting. I think I might still have that in my collection. I'm pretty sure. I got to double check. But
Better.
I was shocked at how good the music is in this series. So when we approached Niko to come back on an episode, because we thought, hey, it's been a year, let's bring Niko back, and we love having him on the show, and we thought we don't want to do something retro because we always like go retro with Niko because he's the artist formerly known as Wiiguy. He's the 8-bit stereo dude.
Yes.
So instead, we were like, let's just leave it up to Niko. Like, let's let him go hog wild. So hog wild he did with an awesome track from Rhythm Heaven that brought us in on the Nintendo DS that came out in 2008. The track that he picked was Game Select 2, also known as That's Paradise Instrumental. And we've got a lot of different composers, and we'll probably mention them all at some point during the break, so there's only a couple games in this series. So the composer on this one was Mitsuo Terada, also labeled as Tsunku, and then Masami Yone. So yeah. So tell me why you picked this one as an intro.
Well, let's see. I don't know. There's something about this track that I really like a lot. Of course, there is the titular game select theme that you get for the Rhythm Heaven games. For the first three, at least. There's always the first one, and then the game has a fake credits thing after you hit a certain remix, and then you'll go into the second game select theme, which they will give you. And of all the games, the first three, this one especially was just my favorite because it obviously is taking from one of the tracks from the DS game, Air Borders, which uses the song That's Paradise. And I just like the instrumental version, and it sounds so epic. It's the second half of the game, keep on going, there's still more to explore. And it's just a really bumping track. I love the first game select theme, but this one to me was just better.
This is very happy.
Very super happy.
Very fun.
It reminds me of a song that I used to play in DDR called Candy.
I love Candy.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
such a good song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of similar, I think, instrument parts. The version of that song that I used to play was actually the instrumental version, not the version with vocals. So
Yeah.
That's sort of another parallel because this is the instrumental version of That's Paradise.
Oh, the one that is the end credits in DDR Max?
Maybe I never stuck around for the end credits. I just know that I know the song to play.
If you play on DDR Max, I believe it's not DDR Max 2, it's DDR Max, and you get to the end of the quote-unquote arcade mode, which is basically where you play 3 or 4 songs. There's a mode where you can hit all the buttons. Candy plays in the background, the instrumental, and you can, I think, unlock Candy instrumental by getting every note. But yeah, I don't 100% quote me on that, of course, because it's been years since I've played it.
The comparison to Candy aside, this was a really just bumping and grooving track.
Yeah,
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. Just a really fun, happy-go-lucky track. Good stuff.
Yes.
So we'll talk about the composers in a little bit. We want to get to the actual meat and potatoes of the show. So Niko is up first. We're going to go round robin as we usually do. So Niko will go, then I will go, and then Justin will go. And we'll pick some awesome tracks. So Niko, what do you got up for us first?
All right, first track I got for you is from the first game in the series, which was released only in Japan, Rhythm Tengoku. That is the Rapid Jump minigame.
Okay, and again, that was composed by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone.
And that was Rabbit Jump from Rhythm Tengoku on the GBA from 2006, composed by Mitsuyo Terada and Masami Yone.
So the arcade version, is it like less like chiptune-y? Like
No,
GBA?
I think it actually stays the same.
Oh, does it?
The songs-wise, yeah. I think the main thing is just that it's on an arcade. You can play it on arcade.
Okay.
And there is the tempo up line of games, which... it's about the only difference between the arcade version and all the flashy graphics that it has.
Right. I was going to say, I would imagine there's a pretty big graphical bump there with it being an arcade. So that's really cool. I dig this like mix of like big band and jazz vibe that it has going. It reminds me of, I was saying this during the break, reminds me of Weird Al's Since You've Been Gone. Since You've Been Gone. That like acapella kind of, or rockapella kind of vibe to it, you know?
Oh, yeah.
What do you think, Justin?
I like it. I feel like all of the music in these games is very, very poppy, very, very bouncy. So to try to get that out of the way now so I don't say it every time we come back, it's very poppy and very bouncy. But no, there's just something about it that, like, as it should be with these rhythm games, there's something about it that sucks you into the music and makes you want to move with the music, or makes you want to, whether you're playing Guitar Hero and you're trying to hit all the notes, or you're playing DDR and you're trying to step on the arrows. Same thing. It's just, it not only makes you want to do it, but the music itself sort of helps you get into that kind of groove. Like it doesn't fight you, or you don't fight the music trying to hit these things on off beats, or trying to do things in a weird way. Like the music makes sense with what you're doing.
Yeah, for sure. The composers on this one, Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone, both worked on a large majority of the Rhythm Heaven series. I figure we'll briefly go over them now. Basically, that's all they did. According to my records, I have for Mitsuo Terada Rhythm Tengoku, Rhythm Heaven Fever, and Rhythm Heaven Megamix in 2015. And they were just assigned music for those. That's what they do. And then as far as Masami Yone has a little bit more than that. Started off with converting Mario Brothers, the deluxe version on the Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah.
I think they probably added like a little bit more, because I think there's like some additional tracks like in the beginning and in different modes or whatever. Kirby Tilt and Tumble in 2000, doing a lot of work on the Game Boy Advance, Super Mario Advance in 2001, Daigasso Band Brothers in 2004, and then DS Raku Biki Jiten in 2005. Also did some work on Brain Age and English Training, and then they did just Rhythm Heaven games up until 2015. So that's pretty much it for the two main composers of this franchise. The fact that Masami Yone had experience with the portable hardware for the audio sound chip, that's probably one of the reasons why the music sounded so good in the DS version and the Game Boy Advance versions of these games.
That would make sense.
Yeah.
Remember, this is 2006. This is also the end lifetime of the GBA, and for the majority of people, you all know how a GBA sounds like. It's kind of like for like just like its for how the sound channels are.
Can I quote you on that? GBA. It's like
We're gonna put that in his section on our website.
Yeah.
No, it very much is like that 2001, those
Yeah.
early GBA, like, and even the good stuff like Fire Emblem and
Castlevania, like Area of Sorrow,
yeah,
and Circle of the Moon.
you can still hear like the tinniness of
Yeah.
that GBA, but like here it's like, dang, it's like it doesn't even sound like a GBA.
Yeah.
Like,
No,
it's
for
pretty
real.
impressive.
Yeah.
But it did help that Mitsuyo Terada had him, because Mitsuyo only has the credits on these games because I think because he's also a fairly prolific like songwriter and producer in Japan. So like I think that they like brought in like someone big like that to be like, can you write the music for our games?
Yeah.
And Sumi implemented it. It was Masami. It's
Yeah.
pretty just like, damn, like I wonder how that process went down. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall for that.
Yeah, that would have been interesting to see. I'm always very fascinated with the way that Japanese composers do things versus European and American composers, because I think it's just easier to get the answers out of Americans and Europeans. Most of the people that we've interviewed on on our show have been American or European in some way, shape, or form. But it'd be really cool to hear from a Japanese composer, to hear a little bit of how things were done. I've read interviews and stuff like that with some of the composers, and it's always really fascinating to me. It was like the Wild West of composing back then.
Oh yeah, back then in
Yeah.
the 2000s.
Oh, yeah, even a little bit back then. Even in like Game Boy Advance and Game Boy Color, like that whole era, it was just different. I mean, it was definitely a lot more flying by the seat of their pants in like the NES era, like Famicom, Super Famicom, like that era, Mega Drive, like all that stuff. And even like the computer systems, like the PC-98, PC-88, all that type of stuff.
Because a lot of that stuff is direct programming. Oh, like you're writing the music, but you're also programming the music, because you're telling, like, you're not writing sheet music.
Right.
You are telling a technical device how to make sounds.
You had to be a programmer and a musician.
Yeah.
Which is quite a feat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of nowadays where you just like bang out a banger. Work an awesome
Or
track.
compose some stuff and then give it to an orchestra.
Right.
And then it ends up in your game.
Yes. Right. It'd be so much easier if it was just like wham wham. I think that should be like your little sound effect that plays like right before you start your Twitch streams. It should be like NikoTengoku. Wham wham.
You know what? Maybe I'll make some changes.
Yes. Yes.
And
But you have to copyright that with XVGM Radio. you have to like right after you say it, it's got to be like but like right after you say it on the on the Twitch stream, you got to be like copyright XVGM Radio.
No, I'll think about it. That's part of why I chose this track too, because this song is my sub song.
Okay.
I sing to it. That's also why I love this track so much.
That's cool.
To me, the catchiest song in both the GBA game and probably of the entire series. It's super catchy. You
That's
got
cool.
it. You got that like da 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 da.
Yeah.
Like, it was meant to be sung.
That's cool. Do you have lyrics to it? Like you should write lyrics to it.
Like after it, you start. I assume you played this. Like you played the first one. Have you? This one?
This first one
GBA one?
I have. No, not the GBA one. I played the DS one.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the da 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 na 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 na. It's a thank you for subscribing to the channel. Thank you. I
That's awesome.
really appreciate it. I hope you enjoy your time here. That's the song.
Awesome.
That's really
That is
cool.
phenomenal. Excellent.
Nice.
So now everyone should go subscribe to you when you are streaming live. So that way they can hear you sing that song. And you'll have to sing it like 50 times.
Oh, dude.
You won't even be streaming.
I
Like, you won't even be playing anything. You'll just be like sitting there like each time somebody subs and singing.
Oh, delicious subs.
Nom, nom, nom. All right, so let's move on to my first pick. So I am playing a track from Rhythm Heaven Fever, and that came out on the Wii in 2012. The track is called Seesaw, and again by Mitsuo Terada, Masami Yone, and they were also joined by Shinji Ushiroda and Asuka Ito. Oh, mein crotch. It has exploded. With awesome. Rhythm Heaven Fever was the name of the game that we just heard. The track Seesaw, and that came out on the Wii in 2012. That was by Mitsuo Terada, Masami Yone, Shinji Ushiroda, and Asuka Ito. That was so good. So good. It was like hip-hop Iron Maiden.
Yeah.
Loving it.
Damn.
So first thing I have to ask Niko here is there a lot of stuff like this in the Rhythm Heaven games? Because I don't remember much that sounded quite like this.
Yeah.
Oh man, each games in all the mini games they tread so many different styles that like it's a whole collection. It's a smorgasbord. There's so much. There's definitely more in the series like this, but not as much. But there's you definitely have a good helping of all kinds of variety.
Yeah, it seems like there's a ton of variety of music, different genres and everything.
Yeah, I definitely found a pretty decent variety of stuff. When I was going through things, I did not find a Mike song like this. Like, and then, as soon as I heard it, the first thing that I thought, I was like, of course Mike picks a metal song. And then it just kept going on, and like listening to these harsh drums.
Yeah.
It sounds nothing like the other stuff that I'm familiar with from any of the Rhythm Heaven games that I've played. And it's really cool. I mean, that's the reason I asked the question. Is I don't remember this one. This was what, on the Wii? Yeah, I must not have gotten that far. I don't think I beat either the DS or the Wii one.
No,
but
if I heard this song, I would have kept the game. If I did sell it, I would have kept it. And now I'm definitely gonna go after this episode and look and see if I do still have the game. Because I'm almost positive I kept it because I
hope you did.
I know.
This is also game 3 of the first row, so this is like in the very beginning.
Right.
So I mean, you'll hit it early.
Oh, it's so good. Oh my goodness. No, that did you hear that like hip hop vibe though? That was kind of coming through
a little bit. Yeah.
It gets a little faster.
A very like bluesy hip hop kind of vibe, and the drums kind of mix in with that too. It's got a little bit of a hip hop beat to it initially, and then when the higher octave kicks in with the guitars, I'm just like, I just melt. That's it, man. I'm done. Stick a fork in me.
Of course.
Yeah, so good.
Oh my.
So Rhythm Heaven Fever came out on the Wii, pretty late release, 2012. I mean, that's a really strong possibility as to why this one went budget pretty quick. Because I remember when this game came out and it was like, wait, what? There's a Wii game coming out? Like, this is definitely before the Wii U came out. But it was, I think, one of the last official games to come out, like, aside from, like, the Just Dance series. It was like this and, like, Xenoblade.
Oh, yep.
And then, of course, the other two games, Last Story
and
Pandora's Tower.
Yeah.
Yep. So I think those came out in, like, 2012 and 2013, I want to say.
Somewhere around
Yeah, like 2011, 2012, like, you know, that whole era of being late in the Wii's life cycle, so... Yeah. These other composers, I figure we can wait to talk about because we have some other
few more
tracks. Yeah,
We can wait.
We
We are waiting.
What are you, some kind of
For
Wii guy?
you.
What are you, some kind of Wii guy over here making your comments and your funnies? All right, so
And you're funny.
and your funnies. All right, so you got one for us next up, Justin. What do you got?
I do. So this is from the original, the OG Rhythm Tengoku. As we heard previously, it came out in the Game Boy Advance and the arcade in 2006. This is Cafe Council by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone. Back. That was Cafe Council from Rhythm Tengoku on the Game Boy Advance and arcade systems in 2006, composed by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone.
You got it.
I do got it.
Oh man, that was good.
It was really good.
Jazzy number, bluesy jazz,
jazzy.
Yeah.
That nice amplified blues guitar, just very nice and smooth and soft.
Loving that dog that randomly shows up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not even random. It's pretty consistent, I would say.
There's a part where it's just like the dog just keeps barking. Like,
Yes.
Well, yeah, it's barista. It's his cafe. He owns the cafe.
Oh, okay.
That's
has
part of
every
the
right
lore.
to
Of
be
course,
there.
I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have Niko.
Yeah.
For context.
It's very helpful.
Yeah.
And it was funny as we were listening to this. The very first bark I didn't hear as a bark. I actually thought it was the guitar player sliding up the strings, and he goes, "Do you hear that bark?" I was like, "That's not a bark." And then the second one came in, I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, that's a bark."
But I'm wondering because you picked this one.
I did.
So did you secretly
No.
think that all of the slides?
No, because at a certain point, it's very obviously a dog barking.
Right.
The problem is, I picked these a while ago.
Oh.
I think I picked.
You must have forgot.
Yeah, like I picked a lot of these tracks almost as soon as we said we were going to do this episode. So I went and looked stuff up.
Yeah.
And I found some stuff that I really liked. And I'm pretty sure I did the same thing when I heard it the first time. The very first bark, I was like, "Oh, that sounds really cool." And then eventually I was like, "Oh, there's a dog."
Oh, maybe you thought that there was a dog barking outside. I like the narrative of you thought that it was the strings the entire time.
Jeez.
I think that'd be really funny because it would mean you probably like secretly popped an embolism in your brain or something.
Oh, thanks, Mike. Glad.
Well, you survived. I'm happy you're here. I mean, you don't smell burnt toast right now, right?
No, just popcorn.
Just pop. What do you smell right now, Niko?
Dog food. It's barista. We're in his cafe. Oh, actually, coffee, because that's
coffee.
the whole
There you
thing. He's
go.
always like, "Come in for some coffee."
So he doesn't sell
But-
dog food at his.
Dog food flavored coffee.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh man.
Oh.
Gross.
I'm gonna throw
I
up.
don't
Why'd you say that,
but-
Mike?
I knew you said that.
Yeah, but no, I like the choice you picked also because it's one of the only tracks that isn't exclusive to like one of the mini games. This is the like menu or like it's the cafe. It's some like other menu area to go to explore like other options. That's the word. I really like it, especially since every theme from each game is unique, and this one is especially like the chillest. It's like going into like a 1940s like black and white detective.
Yeah, noir.
Crime solving too. It's just like noir. Yeah, that's the word. And I like it. It's sometimes I forget these tracks because I'm always straight into the gameplay of all the mini games. And I'm like, oh yeah, sometimes you just gotta take a relaxation in the cafe with barista. Easier counsel after all.
Sometimes you gotta take a bite out of crime.
It kind of almost reminds me of like a 1920s speakeasy as well. With aside from just like the blues guitar and the jazziness of it, that piano is fairly prominent. And then the glissando, kind of a classic piano move. The main things that stood out to me when I picked this were the bluesy, jazzy guitar and just the very clear piano in there.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't hear a lot of piano in video game music unless it's like
Orchestral.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Orchestral JRPGs, you got plenty of piano stuff in there.
For sure.
But stuff like this, it's really nice to hear the piano showcased.
Agreed. Okay, so we're coming around the bend. We got Niko up next for his second pick. What do you got for us?
Oh yeah. All right, I got from Rhythm Heaven Fever. I got Remix 7. Oh yes, and that is of course Mitsuya Terada, Masami Yoni, Shinji Yushiroda, and Asuki Ito.
Cool. Let's hear it.
You're listening to XVGM Radio.
That was Remix 7 from Rhythm Heaven Fever, released on the Wii in 2012, composed by Mitsuya Terada, Masami Yoni, Shinji Yushiroda, and Asuka Ito.
Nice.
Oh my goodness.
This was such a weird one. I liked it. But in the beginning, I'm listening to it. I'm thinking like this sounds like something I'd hear in a shmup or maybe like a Mega Man type
That was
thing.
totally Mega Man.
And then like just as I'm getting into it, I'm like, yeah. And then it just totally changes direction. I was like, wait, where'd we go? And then like every like 10 or 20 seconds, it keeps changing direction.
I don't mean to quote our good friend Norin Rad, aka Matt Creamer, who we've had on the show before, but it broke my brain.
It broke yeah.
It broke my brain. It was so good.
That was
Oh, I love that observation, though, because obviously, for anyone that hasn't played this, and you guys especially, who haven't gotten this far, is that you're only getting the half of it because, you know, you play the games and you're hearing the sound effects. Like, every time I listen to these songs, I can't not think of the sound effects. In my head, I'm always just doing, like, how the song goes with the, like, respective mini games that were in that
Sure.
row.
Yeah.
So, like, that's why it's changing every 20 seconds. It's going from all the different games of that row.
Right. That's why it was like increasing in speed.
At the end there, yeah. It's a beauty, too, because it's like, especially for you guys, it's like when you hear it, it's all going to make sense. You'll be like, oh, no wonder, A, the song is so awesome, and 2, why it changes up so much. But it
Right.
still works. That's what I love about it, too, is that even without the sound effects, it still works fantastically. Like, this is how probably the music had to be first, or what they had to do before they then added the sound effects and all the game stuff.
That's nuts. That's really cool.
Yeah, makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it's so good.
So, after we heard this track, I ran out and checked my collection, and I don't own this one, and I'm so disappointed in myself. I used to own it, and I think I got rid of it. I think I was like, when am I gonna play this? Not realizing the awesomeness of the music.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a little slap on the butt cheeks for that one.
Thanks.
Well deserved.
Delicious.
Oh, that's not just a smack. That's a rat tail towel.
Yeah, that's
gonna leave a mark.
That's a Niko slap. His hand is so wide.
Yeah. Hey, when it comes to Rhythm Heaven, I'm serious, man. It's so good.
That's right.
It's all right. Well, I mean, in his defense, I don't think he truly deserves a slap because he's going to feel the pain when he goes to rebuy this because he's not going to be spending $5.
No, it looks like it's jumped in price. It's about like a $25 to $30 game. So why me?
Still worth it. Give it a go.
Still worth it. I'll have to try to cheaply get this again for maybe $10. I don't know. I'll weasel my way in and get it. Yeah. I'll just bat my pretty eyes.
I'm sure that'll work.
Please, Mr. Sailman.
Mr. Sailman?
Mr. Sailman.
Is the guy that sells sails?
Yeah, he's the sailman. Let's talk about Shinji Ushiroda.
So Shinji Ushiroda started out doing music composition on a little game called Poppin' Music 5 back in 2001.
2001, really?
Yeah.
Why?
I got the sillies tonight, apparently.
Siggles, the silly giggles.
Yeah. And they went on to do things like Air Force Delta Storm in 2001, Pop Music 7 and 6.
Yeah.
Beatmania 2DX 8th Style in 2004. They have quite a few things on here, so I'm not going to go through every single thing. But
Mostly Beatmania, and then they moved over to Nintendo.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. Aside from Rhythm Heaven Fever, we also have Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D in 2013, as well as Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze in 2014. They did music and voice recording on that.
And that's with David Wise.
Yes.
Here, Niko in the background. Oh, Tropical Freeze. Oh, David Wise. Oh.
Good games.
Yeah. Niko, put it away. Anyways.
And then Miitopia in 2016, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate in 2018, and most recently Ring Fit Adventure in 2019.
Oh, man.
I've heard a lot of good things from that.
I've heard that game is great, and I've also heard that actually makes you lose weight, so maybe I'll go get it, because I'm fat.
I heard the same thing about the Wii Fit.
Yeah.
It does work, the things you have to stick with.
Yeah, well...
That's not a knock on you, Mike.
No,
I
I know.
own Wii Fit.
No.
Look at this.
No, I know.
So Asuka Ito started with this one, it looks like, Rhythm Heaven 2008. Also Jam with the Band in 2008. Tomodachi Collection 2009. Fossil Fighters in 2009. Rhythm Heaven Fever in 2011. Kiki Trick in 2012. Tomodachi Life in 2014. I think that was the...
That's the 3DS game that's like basically like a Tamagotchi, but... You know.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I was thinking. I thought it was the Android thing that Nintendo put up. That's something else.
It was kind of like a precursor to that Mii game that was on the phones, on cell phones.
Yeah,
remember that?
That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah. It's very similar to that, but Tomodachi Life was a lot of fun. I actually sunk quite a bit of time into that.
Really?
Yeah, believe it or not. What else? Smash Bros. For the Wii U.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then finally, the most recently, Shadow Tactics, Blades of the Shogun, and Night Cry in 2016.
Both of those, yeah. Night Cry, I think, is that new game by the guy who did Clock Tower.
Oh.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's supposed to be, I think, like a unofficial sequel or something like that. I think even Scissor Man might even be in it. So
Neat.
yeah. Or they call him the Scissor Walker.
Scissor Walker.
Scissor Walker. Delicious. Anyways, so it looks like we are getting a phone call on the Patreon request hotline. So we may as well take that. Caller, you are on the air. What can we do for you?
Hey, XVGM Radio. This is Jordan Davis. Anson, what are you doing? Oh, I remember that. That's from the Air Rally song in Rhythm Heaven Fever for the Wii. Oh, we'd love to request the full version. What do you think of that?
Oh, man.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Fantastic.
Thank you for calling in.
Thank you, Jordan and Anson Davis, for requesting that song. We will play it right away. Rhythm Heaven Fever, which again came out on the Wii in 2012. This track is Air Rally, as they've requested. Again, by Mitsuo Terada, Masami Yone, Shinji Ushiroda, and Asuka Ito. Welcome back to XVGM Radio. That was the Patreon request of the episode from Jordan and Anson Davis. That was from Rhythm Heaven Fever, released on the Wii in 2012. That was Air Rally, and it's by Mitsuo Terada, Masami Yone, Shinji Ushiroda, and Asuka Ito. I wanted to play the version of this that has the sound effects in it as well, because it's super cute. It has I've actually seen the video footage of this. It's like two monkeys bouncing. They're on airplanes.
Yeah.
And they're smacking a ball back and forth. So when you hear
I've seen that. Yes.
So when you hear this version that we're about to play, it'll make a little bit more sense. So here is the quote unquote perfect version of Rhythm Heaven Fever's Air Rally.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Bum bum bum. 2, 3, 4. Bum 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 bum. 2, 3, 4. Bum 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 bum. 2, 3, 4. Bum 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 bum. 2, 3, 4.
All right, so you're back. You heard the song with the sound effects. Guys, what do you think? Compare the two. What do you think?
Super, super adorable.
Yeah. Oh, the version with the sound effects?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. I wanted to play... What's that?
Pretty boring.
Pretty boring. Whatever.
No, it's great. It's
Yeah.
grand. I love them both, man.
Yeah, I wanted to showcase both. I thought it was appropriate, and plus, it'll kind of give people an idea of what these games are about, because they're rhythm games. So you're playing them in music, rhythm. If you've ever played any other music games like Parappa or Dance Dance Revolution, as we said earlier, Guitar Freaks, Guitar Hero, even like some newer stuff like Harmonite. You ever play that?
No.
On the 3DS. It's made by Nintendo, or it's made by maybe Level 5, I think.
Crypt of the Necrodancer.
Crypt of the Necrodancer, yep.
Cadence of Hyrule.
Yeah.
What's the one from the PSP days? Maybe the same guys who made Loco Roco.
Oh, Patapon. Yeah. So yeah, rhythm-based games, games where you are playing rhythm. But this specifically is like mostly mini games. Is that right, Niko?
Yeah, they're like a minute to 2 minutes. I mean, the individual games, they can last anywhere from 40 seconds, 2 minutes, and then you have the remixes, which culminate whatever's in a specific row to, again, like 1 to 3 minutes.
Yeah. And would you say that the point of the game is to do it perfectly, or is the point of the game to get a specific high score or ranking?
The point of the game is to have fun. But no, there's that, but
Throwing some shade.
No, so each mini game you can get 3 ratings. Try again, okay, or superb. If you get superb, you get a medal.
Okay.
Over time, when you're collecting medals for all the games, you'll have the perfect opportunity or chance to get a perfect, which means you have to do the beats right, don't miss
Perfect.
once.
Yeah.
And if you get all the perfects, you'll collect all the collectibles or stuff in the options for unlocking stuff also. And then, of
Perfect.
course, you can just show off your big, rhythm heaven,
Skills.
status. Yeah, skills for perfecting all the games, which I have done, which is not easy, believe it or not, especially for the final remixes.
I can only imagine.
Yeah.
Elite Beat Agents is another one.
Oh, yes.
Loved Elite Beat Agents. So good. Cool. Now I have a little context as to the game that I'm about to purchase.
Oh, yeah. Buy them all. Get them all, man.
Get
Import
them all.
the first one.
Yo, you gotta collect them
Do
all.
it. You got to. There's only
He-
4.
Rhythm Heaven. Gotta catch 'em all. I know it's my rhythm destiny. Okay, so or Rhythmon. Rhythmon. All right, so talked about the composer, so we're good to go. Thank you again to Jordan and Anson for that track. That was really fun. Let's move into my next pick. This is Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix. This came out on the 3DS in 2015. This song is called Tap Trial 2 Turbo Tap Trial. It's by Mitsuo Terada, Shinji Ushiroda, Asuka Ito, Yumi Takahashi, and Megumi Inoue. Does this happen to you?
Cough, cough. Wheeze, sniffle. I just can't shake this cold. My fever's getting worse. Dang flu season. What should I do, Mr. Announcer? And wait, am I hallucinating? Why are you in my bed, Mr. Announcer?
That's right, Billy.
Actually, it's Justin.
Whatever, Philip. No, I'm not a hallucination. In fact, I'm as real as that 105-degree fever you've got.
Oh, shucks. Achoo. What will I ever do?
It's time for Pew Pewsonex's Rhythm and Fever.
Tell me, Mr. Man, how does it work?
First, take an appropriate amount of the Pew Pewsonex's Rhythm and Fever and shove it down your gullet. Then wait an hour and a half and your fever will start to break.
Wow, I feel so much better.
Then, once your fever breaks, prepare to dance to the rhythm that's now in your head.
What? What is this? Am I going insane? What'd you put in the medicine?
We ground up copies of Rhythm Heaven Fever for the Nintendo Wii, then mixed it with our patented flu medicine. Now you can dance the night away fever-free.
I just want to go to bed. Stop the madness! Somebody please help me. I can't stop dancing.
Pew Pewsonex's Rhythm and Fever is not sold anywhere. Avoid at all costs.
What?
Side effects include hallucinating announcers, dry mouth, itchy cornea, an inability to stop dancing, and in some rare cases, fevers. Call 1-800-255-3700 for a brochure on further side effects. Note, this product is only available in Utah. Void where prohibited.
I got a fever, and the only prescription is Rhythm Heaven.
Oh my goodness, that was Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix that came out on the 3DS in 2015. That was Tap Trial 2 Turbo Tap Trial, and it's by Mitsuo Terada, Shinji Ushiroda, Asuka Ito, Yumi Takahashi, who we have not talked about yet, and Megumi Inoue. That was a slammin', jammin' ska track mixed with a James Bond soundtrack.
Yeah,
Because, I mean, you got the super bouncy, happy trumpets and the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then right before it loops, you hear dun 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 dun. And now the only vocals that I could hear in my head were like, James Bond, James Bond. So that is just, oh man, it was so fun. Such a happy, fun ska track. I love ska music. Ska music, like, you really got to be in a good mood. You can't be in a bad mood and listen to ska music. Like, that's impossible.
Well, see, that's the thing. If you're in a bad mood and you listen to ska music, then you're not in a bad mood anymore. So that's how it works.
But you can't stay in a bad, like, if a ska song comes on the radio, you're just immediately going to be happy. Like, it's just, that's going to happen, you know?
Yeah.
Niko, what do you think of this one?
Oh, I love it. It's like exactly what you said. I like that ska feel. And they're like James Bond.
Did I ruin that song for you?
No, but I will be thinking of it every so often. Which I mean, I listen to this soundtrack even outside the games way more.
Sure.
Considering how much I say I love the games and the music.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I really do. And what I really like, especially with the 3DS with Mega Mix.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what's with this one?
So it's basically they have the whole thing with the games is you have rows. You know, you either have like 4 games in a row and then you hit a remix. And
yeah.
Second row, 4 games remix. And in this one, what they did was obviously there's 4 mini games, and what they did is the first game's from the GBA one, second one's from the DS one, third one from Wii, and then they have a brand new one on this one. And what I like is that a lot of the tracks, obviously they're updated, especially for the GBA ones, because, you know, the sound chip. So this is technically like, second technically also from an official like release with the, I think it's called the Rhythm Heaven Complete Music Collection. What I like is that it's just how the different version of it too, because you can just go back to the GBA one and hear the original, which still sounds, you know, just as great. But I do like the updated versions. They also did for some of the DS ones, DS tracks. Yeah, it's really awesome. It breathes new life, and I love that too.
That's really cool. So you're essentially saying this is like a greatest hits, kind of like an NES remix game.
A little bit, a little bit, but they still add new crap to it.
Yeah. Now, is it every game, or is it like actually greatest hits?
No, it's not. It's close to every though, because there's like 100, plus mini games.
Oh, for sure.
They only had to leave out like a handful from each one. Obviously, they took the most from the Wii one. Yeah, because I think that has the least amount, but it's still great. They add a lot of new stuff, like a story mode too, and other little extras. Okay, and, like the way the game is presented is also all new, because it's not just the usual. Here's the menu or the scene, the game select screen, and then the rows. They really change it up a lot in this version.
Would you say that this is the definitive version to get of the game?
Ooh, it's hard though because they're all so good and unique in their own way to experience. Because especially the DS one, you're using the touchscreen and flicking and tapping, and in this one they changed also the games from the ones put from the DS to also accommodate just doing a button press now. But you can switch the style to play tapping instead of pressing buttons in Megamix. They give you both options.
Did this come out here?
Yes, but as a download only, digital, no physical release for the US, which is a shame. I hate that.
Yeah,
but
it looks like it came out in PAL.
PAL is well physical, which is I like. Come on, man, why couldn't we get that?
If
But
only the
you know,
3DS was
Region
unlocked.
3.
Yeah.
Yeah, Region 3.
Thankfully,
but,
the Switch is. Maybe they should bring it to the Switch.
you know what? I wouldn't mind if Megamix just got ported to the Switch. And then, as a entry level for some people that have never played it, it would be a good starting place. But I would recommend doing play either the first one emulated for the GBA or imported, which I did. Get and then the DS and then the Wii, and you're good to go.
Yeah. So the two composers that we haven't talked about, Yumi Takahashi and Megumi Inoue. So Yumi Takahashi has 4 games: Style Savvy, Fashion Forward in 2015, and then this game, and then Miitopia in 2016, and then worked on Smash Bros. Ultimate in 2018 doing arrangement. Megumi Inoue has a little bit more to their name. Jam with the Band in 2008, so again, doing that music scene. Fossil Fighters in 2009, Brain Age Concentration Training in 2012. Jumping around here, Metroid Prime Federation Force are labeled as voice data, and then they were sound supervisors on a bunch of stuff. Super Mario Party, Mario Tennis Aces, Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story, and Bowser Jr.'s Journey, and Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games 2020 in Tokyo, and the final game that they're credited for under sound supervisor role is Luigi's Mansion 3, which came out just a few months ago in 2019.
Yeah, that was a really fun one.
I haven't played it yet, but I'm sure it is.
My wife has it. She loves it.
Cool. Awesome. Let's go to Justin's next pick. What do you got?
All right, this one is going to be from Rhythm Heaven, the Nintendo DS game that came out in 2008. This is Shoot 'em Up 2, and composed by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone. Welcome back. That was Shoot 'em Up 2 from 2008's Rhythm Heaven on the Nintendo DS, as composed by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone.
I got like a Oasis vibe from this. Like
Wonderwall?
Post-grunge kind of vibe. Like alternative music. I think it's the mixture of the guitar sound with what sounded like a tambourine. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
You get that?
That makes sense.
Feeling what I'm putting out there.
Yeah, I don't know if I get an Oasis vibe, only because I'm not as big on Oasis. I know the hits, Wonderwall, Champagne Supernova, and probably a handful of others that I couldn't name, but probably know. But yeah.
That's all you really need to know.
Yeah,
those two.
True, and the fighting. But yeah, this one I liked because it had some really interesting things going on with the guitar and the main melody there, like the doubled guitar, or like the delayed double, or whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it, like that effect, whether it was an effect or actually composed that way, it's just really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. Niko?
Yeah, I really like this track as well, and especially for like playing this one. This is one of the, I think, considered one of the most difficult ones to do, also, because there's a lot of tapping, there's a lot of fast tapping. I go like da 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 da. So I mean, also just playing it wise, it is very intriguing. But of course, I do like it by itself. That's, like I said, it's the two sides, the separation of hearing just the music and like just enjoying it as it is, and then of course like the SFX version, I guess we'll call it. Which
Right.
The enjoyment can also come from, I feel, also just playing it as well. You get a connection too, and I don't. There's not much I can relate on this one. It has that just kind of future-y sound, and then there's a sweet guitar. I do just love the sound overall. I can't say one track that is not good. Every single mini game and stuff in the Rhythm Heaven games they're just always so good. Like,
Yeah.
oh, the masters. I can't. Oh, can't even. Too good.
Niko is just gushing all over the podcast.
Masters? Are you talking about golf?
No, they're
universe.
the masters of their domain, I guess is what he's saying.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They are the ones that show up and slam $20 on the table and say, I'm out. So, the composers we already talked about, so we don't need to drag out the episode any further. Let's go with the next song, which is sadly Niko's last pick. Niko,
Oh God.
dry your tears. We've got plenty more music to come.
Okay, I'm good.
What do you got for us?
All right. Well, my final pick is the Right Hand remix from Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix from the 3DS in 2015 by Mitsuya Terada, Shinji Shiroda, Asuka Ito, Yumi Takahashi, and Megumi Inoue.
If only I could just conjure a spell. Kapow, hocus, hocus, hocus. Hey, baby, how's it going? This beat is non-stop.
Oh yeah, that was the Right Hand remix from Rhythm Heaven Mega Mix from the 3DS from 2015 by Mitsuyo Terada, Shinji Shiroda, Asuka Ito, Yumi Takahashi, and Megumi Inoue. Oh, God dang it, these names.
Oh boy.
That was a good run.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a really fun, bouncy song. And I got a very Japanese vibe, especially when the vocals kicked in with those Japanese vocals. I was like, oh, yeah. Japanese vocals. Yes. What do you think?
Trying to think of how to describe it. It sounds like J-pop, but it sounds brighter than the J-pop that I'm used to, which is hard to do because J-pop is already really bright. Usually.
Yeah.
But it felt incredibly cute.
It sounded like tutorial music.
Oh, yeah.
Like
yeah.
if you were to put together like a table in Japan. I feel like this is the music that they would include on a DVD.
This is the music that...
Montage music.
Or on a
man.
VHS. On a VHS. It would have to be a VHS.
This is the music included in the instructions on how to build this table that is solely there for people to flip.
Yeah.
And then it breaks and you gotta put it back together again. So you play the music, you make the table, and then they flip it.
So, Niko, your thoughts on this one? Your final pick?
Oh yeah, well, again, like I like the observations from y'all that haven't played this yet. So like Remix 7 from Fever, compiling, you're playing all the different minigames from the entire game. But this one's especially interesting because for all the other remixes or from all the games, the past ones, the remixes are kind of like their own original songs, and then they throw in all the the games you've played from that row. You have to, do the rhythm to them. But the like the final remixes in this one are technically split up into 3. It's right-hand remix, left-hand remix, and then the final remix, like the remix 10 of the game. So the song, and all the change-ups reflect the original songs of whatever game you're doing in the remix, which is especially makes it interesting because like Remix 7, that was like its own original, just kind of like that spacey disco-y sound, and then here it's just like, yeah, it's definitely very J-pop sounding because of the nature of the entire game, and just that was the theme that they went with on this one. Funny enough, the left-hand remix kind of takes a more different vibe, but all the same, it's just I can never stop having good thoughts thinking about this. I smile and I think of all the sound effects I associate with each section, and of course the like those Japanese lyrics are obviously from one of the new games in Mega Mix that is just a guy basically singing like he's just all like and it's just so good. I love it. And then of course like the other lyrics, which are in English because of this recording from one of the games that where the person's singing and you're doing all the rhythming, but it's just all flow. It's just, oh god, it's just so good.
I agree. Good stuff.
Very cool. So it looks like we got another call coming in, not on the Patreon line this time, but on the regular call-in line. Do you want to send that on over?
Yeah.
XVGM Radio, who is this and what can we do for you?
I am Karate Joe.
Karate Joe. Niko, this one of your friends?
Oh yeah, yes of course, my good pal.
What is Karate Joe? Like who, what, where, why, how, and when?
He's just a master. He masters karate. He is Joe, and he does karate. He punches, ramen cups and rocks and soccer balls. He just has a good time.
Yes, I have a good time.
Well, Karate Joe, what can we do for you?
I want to hear a song from Rhythm Heaven. This came out on the Nintendo DS in 2008. Are you familiar?
Yeah, we've actually been playing songs from these games all evening.
What a coincidence.
Yes.
Play me Glee Club if you can, please.
Will do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Sounds like a super serious guy, right?
Yeah.
Jeez. All right.
Hey man, it's just him, man. He takes his karate seriously.
Yeah, as you should.
Yes.
So, Rhythm Heaven, the Nintendo DS game, as we said in 2008, that was Glee Club that we're going to be playing, and that is by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone. Oh man, you are back from that relaxing elevator ride / Weather Channel show thing.
Yeah.
That was Karate Joe's request, Rhythm Heaven, which came out on the Nintendo DS in 2008. That was Glee Club, which I kind of get, is by Mitsuo Terada and Masami Yone.
That was, I mean, I think you hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah.
Elevator or Weather Channel.
Super chill.
Super chill, super smooth. This is another one of those songs where you just be sitting like in the yard.
Coffee
or on
shop.
Yeah, coffee shop.
Boom.
I was going to say on the couch, but I think coffee shop is better.
Yeah.
But not drinking a coffee.
No.
Drinking an Arnold palm tree.
So smooth. So what did you think of the track, Niko?
Oh, I love it. I love this track too because it's like I've said before with all the different styles of each mini game and what each game has for its music. You go from like all the ska stuff to the rock stuff to the jazz stuff, and then you have just this kind of just very chill. It's very elevator. I can definitely popping in
Yeah.
somewhere where there's elevators. Many places. And just hearing this, and I'm like, yes, all is well as I take my way.
You ever have like a mental conversation with yourself?
I really am like how
Like-
in elevators when you get in
Yeah.
them, and then
Well, I was
if
thinking
you're
to
going up
myself
or
like,
down.
oh yeah, like when you go to a bank, and then I was like, wait, what? Nobody goes.
What bank
in
do
an
you go to?
elevator.
That's elevator.
That's what I was.
Fancy
That's
ass
why.
bank.
So I corrected myself in my head. I was like, no, you idiot. No, nobody has an elevator in a bank.
But
Oh, boy.
yeah, it's just it's good. I love when the sax, right? Yeah, there's like hits
Yeah.
in there. Just I love it. It's
So
and then and I love that the game too. It's accompanied by the choirmen that they scream. They go
Oh.
And
I
it's like,
remember
yeah.
this one. I distinctly remember
Yeah.
playing this one. And I think this was the one that I was like, I don't know if I'm going to keep this game or not.
Oh, yeah, damn, man. First that and Fever. You
I
need
know.
to
I know.
judging, man. Judgy.
Yeah, no, please judge away. I don't think it annoyed
It
me.
called back to him.
I think it was the voices. I think it was
yeah.
like kind of, I don't know. Maybe it just annoyed me at the time. I have no idea. But I mean,
But it was a really good.
I
it was a
enjoyed
good
playing the level. I remember enjoying playing the level. It's just like the voices. Are they like really high pitched?
I'm not really, but
No.
they're going like
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
do
yeah.
a little a scream, but it's all cute. It's all still cute.
Yeah, it is.
They-
it is. The whole
the sound designers
presentation
know
is
what
very
they're doing.
cute. Yeah.
Just like you.
Oh,
Aw.
thanks, Niko. Right back at you, big boy.
Thanks.
This is why we love having you on.
Yeah.
Aw.
It sounded like he jumped off like a building.
Aw.
Oh.
No, it sounded like he was trying to be Colossus.
Oh.
Yeah, powering
Yeah,
up.
yeah. There you go. So, one track left, right?
One track to rule them all.
Yes. This is Justin's final pick.
Yes, it is. So this is from Rhythm Heaven Fever, the Wii 2012 released game. The name of the track is Remix 3, I Feel Fine, or I think, Niko, you said in the US it was called Tonight? Is it? Okay.
In parentheses.
In
it's
parentheses, yes.
tonight. I feel fine
Tonight.
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 And this was composed by Mitsuo Terada, Masami Yone, Shinji Ushiroda, and Asuka Ito.
でっかい都会で震える私を見つけてくれたびっくりしたあの時から私が変わったわ繋わって
Welcome back. That was Remix 3, I Feel Fine, from Rhythm Heaven Fever on the Wii in 2012. What you heard was the Japanese version. Now, just for comparison, we actually want to play you the English version, and this one is called Remix 3 Tonight.
Shivering cold on a big city night. Well, that's just how you found me way back then. And in the startled blink of an eye, I knew my life was forever changed. Walking on a high wire, and if that's how life's gonna be, then I should have all the fun that I can. Yeah, that's a llama like me. Tonight's the night, right here, right now, I swear. I'll walk into the future without a care. Yeah, tonight when all my tears have come and gone, I'll say goodbye to yesterday's sad songs. Yeah, and there may come a time when I will hesitate. The waiting's part of life now. Tonight's the night, please hear me out to the end. Could you please be the one, my carefree friend? Yeah, tonight I need my dreams to all come true. Please tell me if that sounds like a plan to you. Yeah, I know that it may sound too simple to be true, but hey, well that's like two. But hey, well that's like two.
And you're back. So, now that you've heard both the English and the Japanese version, what are your thoughts?
I like the Japanese version better, but that's because, I'm a Tengoku.
For heaven.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree. You are Tengoku. Nice. I sort of also prefer the Japanese version, but I do like the English version. And as we were talking about when we were listening to them, I hadn't listened to the English version. Like, I'd picked the Japanese version and I stuck with it. And then when you played the English version, I was like, oh, wait, I actually do know this one. I know enough of the words to know that I have to have heard it more than once. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of fun. Nico?
Oh yeah, I prefer the English version.
right.
I very much, of course, respect those the original Japanese version. Same with Remix 8 and 9 from Rhythm Heaven Fever, which featured a song and vocals. I don't know, there's something about understanding what the lyrics are.
Yeah, true.
Yes,
Singing a
yes,
song,
true.
So replicate it or to sing it, but it's, I don't know, maybe because I've also, played the game so many times that I've just been so used to the English versions, but
Yeah.
I really do still enjoy, of course, both versions, but probably lean a little bit towards the English, which is maybe a first for Rhythm Heaven, because the DS version had the same thing. There were songs with lyrics and English vocals, but the English vocals in the DS version are they seem a little cheesy, not as good sounding or what was being sung. So the Japanese is probably better in the DS version, but for Fever on the Wii, I feel the English, whoever was singing them, really just did a great job.
Yeah, no,
that's fair.
the vocals are really good on the English version. I've always been a fan of Japanese vocals, mostly because I feel like the melodies that they use are almost like a whole nother instrument, and not that the English doesn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Japanese do it in a much different way that kind of fits with melodies and harmonies better. It works better with the music, in my opinion. So
Yeah, I think we've talked about this before, actually, on an older episode, or just in conversation. I really can't remember, but I remember you talking about like the Japanese vocals being more like an instrument. Because, and I think that's because you don't understand what they're saying. Like your brain kind of just turns it into more music, whereas when it's in a language that you understand, like your brain is translating the meaning of those words.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
But it's still really cool.
There's a part in the Japanese version where there's like a woo!
Yes.
And I thought it was Niko. I was like, wow, Niko, that was a really well-placed woo. And he was like, it wasn't me.
God, I wish I was.
He cried a little bit.
Jeez.
Tears, there were tears. So, that was Rhythm Heaven Fever, and we have reached the end of our show, sadly enough.
What?
Yeah, I know. It's a bummer. We're going to have to bring Niko back and play more Rhythm Heaven.
Yeah, or just bring Niko back for anything.
Period.
I think...
oh, yeah, dude, I've been on an Amiga kick. I mean, let's get some Amiga stuff going on.
Next time, Amiga. Yeah. That's what's up.
We were talking before we started recording. We recorded with Niko in December and then released in January. Right. Now we are recording in January. This to be released in February. Right. So I think we just need to make this a turn of the year thing, like December, January, winter type thing. Getting Niko on and just have it be like a yearly staple.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm cool with it too.
Nice. Yeah. Sweet.
So we'll send you some calendar invites.
Yeah, there you go. So let's talk about favorites of the episode. We're going to let the guest go first. Niko, what was your favorite track of all the selections?
Oh, God. This is like choose my favorite Taco Bell item. Just like if they're all good, I'll take all of it.
I mean, they can't all be Baja Blast. I mean...
Yeah, well, that's quitter talk right there. Oh, God. I guess of all the picks, obviously I'm leaning towards what I picked because it's the stuff I love the most. But of that, I think Remix 7, because that one has connected more to me recently, just listening to that one.
That's the Mega Man / jazz number, right?
Yeah, like spacey, disco-y vibe.
Yeah.
Definitely. And my favorite thing is I like daydreaming with a lot of the music, like thinking of just being in the world of Rhythm Heaven, and 7 just gives me the most euphoric, just like...
Would you say that 7 sends you to heaven?
Now that's a good one. Straight to it, man. Straight to it.
Yes. Justin, your pick?
So I think I'm actually going to go with your Tap Trial 2.
Okay.
That was the kind of ska one, right?
Yeah, that was the ska.
That one was a lot of fun. I haven't listened to ska in a while.
Yeah, that was the James Bond ska one. Yeah, very cool. I'm going to go with Niko's pick, Remix 7.
Really?
I was going to pick... I know. I was going to pick Seesaw. That was my jam, but... Oh, man. Remix 7 just knocked me on my buttocks. I didn't... So Niko put up his tracks kind of late, and so I listened to Justin's, and I was like, all right, cool. And then I listened to mine, and I was like, those are great. And then Niko put up his, and I think I maybe casually listened or didn't really... Maybe I was like, I'll just listen to it during the episode so it's a little more fresh to me. So I didn't really like dive in deep. And so listening to the track here on the episode, it just took me by surprise. I was like, whoa, because I love that like Mega Man melody. Yeah. And then for it to like break my brain with the jazz stuff, it just was really, really cool. It was like a very interesting dynamic for music to take. And lately I've been listening to a lot of like random, weird, eclectic music. So it was a nice change up. But for like old school Mike, I'm gonna go Seesaw.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no, my pick is definitely Niko first, then mine. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Niko, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can we find NikoTengoku on the internet?
Thanks for having me again. It really is great being back. You know me, I love talking about my video game music, and especially of the best series of all time with some of my favorite music.
Boom.
Well, before I would say catch me at the Wiiguy here, and here, but now it's basically all the same places: Twitch.tv, Twitter, obviously YouTube. You just look up 8-Bit Stereo,
right,
and all that.
And we'll have links to everything too on the show notes too.
And in the guest section of our website,
yes,
we have a bunch of that stuff up already.
Yeah, so we'll change that over so that way it matches.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yep, NikoTengoku, that's where I'm at, and all the places I was able to change, which is pretty much all of them, but majority, probably just the Twitch one, because that's what I like doing lately is streaming. I enjoy doing it.
Cool.
So, we'd like to take a moment to thank our Patreon patrons, without whom this show's continued improvement would be impossible. They are Alex Messenger, Scott McElhone, Cam Worma, Chris Hart, Dan Lawton, Chris Murray, Kung Fu Carlito of the Heroes 3 podcast, Jordan and Anson Davis, Chris Myers, Llama Adam, Jeremy Rutz, Bedroth, Nick Davis, Brad Austin, Mixmaster, and the Autistic Gamer 89. If you would like to become a patron, you can sign up at patreon.com/xvgmradio. There you can see the different tiers as well. Just $1 gets you a thank you and access to our monthly live shows.
You can visit our website, xvgmradio.com, where you can listen to all the episodes and learn more about your hosts, as well as any of our guests or composers that we've had on the show.
If you'd like to reach out to us, you can always email us at xvgmradio@gmail.com.
And if you'd like what you've heard, please consider giving us a rating on iTunes and a review.
You can also join our Facebook group and chat with other VGM lovers at www.facebook.com/groups/xvgmradio, where we talk about everything from current game news to sharing awesome VGM tracks, or just talking about the podcast itself.
And you can find us on Twitter and Instagram. Our handle for both of those sites is @XVGMRadio.
If you don't have any other social media or just want to try something unique, check us out on our Discord group chat. Links will be in the show notes.
So, up next, Justin, episode 46. We are approaching episode 50, which, by the way, if you haven't heard, this is a reminder, episode 50 is going to be fan picks. You don't have to be a Patreon member or donator to do this. Go to xvgmradio@gmail.com. Send us an email with your choice, one per person, of a song you would like us to play on the show. We will pick from the list of people that show up and play tracks, and we'll figure out what tracks we're going to play. We'll select those tracks. We'd like you to do a testimonial as well, either written or audio if you could record it. And that is the name of the game. So again, xvgmradio@gmail.com. Send us what you want. And of course, it's got to be a track that we haven't played yet.
Right, and make sure to put in the subject.
Episode 50?
Yes.
Yeah, you got it. All right, so episode 46. Justin, what do we got coming up?
So this is going to be a first, actually. We have not done this before.
I don't think anyone's done this before.
No?
This is a pretty unique idea. I've never seen anybody else do this.
Fair.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of came up with it. You came up with this
I did.
a while ago.
Yeah.
And I said that I thought it'd be awesome. So we're calling it Reverse Picks.
Yeah.
And what it is Mike has picked 5 tracks that he thinks I would like, and I've picked 5 tracks that I think Mike would like. And we have not shared those tracks with each other. And we're going to play them on the air, hear them for the first time, and then talk about them.
That's right. And then we're going to rank them from 0 to 5. So if I think that Justin picked something awesome, I'm going to give him a 5. If he thinks I picked something awesome, going to give me hopefully a 5. So that is the way that is going to go. So we will see you in 2 weeks for that wacky episode. This is Mike
And Justin.
signing off for XVGM Radio.
Tell me, Mr. Man, how does it work?
Sorry.
Did you not like that?
No, it's funny. I just, the way you did it was really funny. And Masami Yuna. There. Wow.
Masami.
Masami Yuna. My wife has it. She loves it.
Cool. Awesome.
My wife.
My wife. So,
Sorry,
let's.
your wife.